I still remember the way the room froze, like the air itself had turned to glass when I said, "If I were you, I wouldn't pull that trigger." My voice didn't shake, though my heart was pounding. Everyone turned, but it wasn't the guests who mattered. It was the man with the gun. His smirk cracked for just a second, and that second was mine. You see, I wasn't supposed to be noticed. I was the quiet one in the background, carrying trays, wiping tables. Just the help. Invisible. That's what they thought anyway. But the truth is, I had been watching him all night, his stiff shoulder, the way he never touched a drink, never made eye contact, always scanning exits like he was rehearsing a script. I knew exactly what he was before he ever reached for the weapon under his jacket. "Lady, you're crazy," he barked, trying to laugh it off. "I'm a guest just like you." But I didn't blink. I stepped forward and told him every detail I'd seen: the corridor he came through, the fake badge, the way his earpiece didn't fit. His eyes twitched with every word because I wasn't guessing. I was cutting through his cover like a knife. And then bam, something slammed into my ribs. The world spun. I hit the marble floor hard, breath gone, vision white. Another man dressed as a waiter grinned down at me with a stun baton. "Didn't see me, did you, hero?" he sneered. Guests screamed. A billionaire named Ethan Ross was yanked up by his collar, a pistol jammed against his temple. That's when everything in me wanted to give up, to just stay down. But Ethan's eyes found mine. He didn't see a maid anymore. He saw something else. And I knew I had to move. So when the gunman snarled, "One more step and he dies," I gave Ethan a single blink, a signal, and we moved together. He dropped low. I lunged and my heel cracked against the man's wrist. The gun skittered across the floor and chaos exploded. Security swarmed, guests piled on, and when it was all over, two men were zip-tied and cursing on the ground. The room turned toward me. "Who the hell are you?" someone gasped. And I said it plain: I used to be FBI. By the next morning, headlines screamed about the maid who saved Manhattan. My face was everywhere. Some called me fearless, others reckless. I just sat in the back of a patrol car, staring at my reflection in the window, wondering how the hell my quiet life had gone up in flames overnight. Ethan Ross found me later, still in shock, but steady enough to ask the question no one else dared. "Come work with me. I run a security firm. We need someone like you." I told him no. I'd walked away from that world after losing my partner overseas. His name was Ramirez, and I'd failed him. The bureau called me broken. I called myself a ghost. But the world doesn't let you quit just because you're tired. By nightfall, a call came in. "This is Agent Torres, FBI. Those men you stopped, they're not freelancers. They're part of a network. If you think it's over, you're wrong." And he was right. Because within days, Ethan and I were knee-deep in it. A defense contractor named Arthur Blake admitted he'd been selling weapons on the black market. He wrote down one name: Richard Kane. The kind of man who shook hands with senators by day and shipped rifles to war zones by night. We barely had time to process it before bullets shattered the brownstone windows. I dragged Blake out under fire, pulled my old pistol from hiding, and realized the life I'd tried to bury was clawing its way back. From there, it escalated fast. We infiltrated a warehouse that was supposed to hold farm equipment. Instead, crates full of rifles stacked to the ceiling. And waiting for us on the catwalk was Kane's fixer, a scar-faced man named Voss. He didn't want us dead, not yet. He wanted us humiliated, caught on camera, framed as the villains. Dozens of rifles aimed at us. I looked at Ethan. He looked back like he knew this was suicide. But I whispered, "See that crane? When I say go, shoot the chain." He didn't even argue. He just did it. The pallet came crashing down the catwalk. Buckled men scattered, and I sprinted through sparks and gunfire like I'd never left the field. We got out, but the news spun it within hours: ex-FBI maid caught at illegal arms site. That's Kane's true weapon narrative. He doesn't just fire bullets, he fires lies. It all came to a head when we found the server farm hidden behind two big red doors in Midtown. Voss, broken and half-beaten, gave us the code. Inside were rows of servers humming with every dirty contract, every bank transfer, every life Kane had bought and sold. I pulled the drive. My hands shook because I knew this was it, the proof that could burn him down. And then the lights flickered. Doors slammed open. Boots thundered in. A dozen rifles raised. And through them walked Richard Kane himself. Silver hair, perfect suit, smile that could charm a crowd and chill your blood all at once. "Maya Williams," he said, like he was greeting an old friend. "The ghost, the bureau abandoned. Do you really think you can end me with a thumb drive?" I aimed my rifle right at his chest. "I don't think." "I know." But his men seized Ethan, yanked the drive from his hands, and Kane chuckled like the devil himself. "I don't want you dead, Maya. Not yet. Corpses are forgettable. But disgraced heroes now, that's a story people never stop talking about." He turned to leave, tossing the drive in his palm like it was pocket change. Bring her. Alive. So yeah, I ended up in one of Kane's private cages. Glass walls, cameras, humming guards at every corner. Ethan was locked across from me, pale but defiant. Kane strutted in to gloat, whispering Ramirez's name like it was a knife. I wanted to lunge at him, but all I could do was promise myself, this isn't the end. This is the beginning. That night, alarms cut for 5 seconds. Agent Torres had left a back door open. I snapped my restraints, shattered the seam in the glass, pulled Ethan out, and we ran through sirens and steel until the city air hit our lungs like freedom. Now I walk through these streets, knowing my face is plastered across every screen. To half the world, I'm a hero. To the other half, I'm a traitor. Kane thinks he can bury me under his lies, but I've been buried before. And every time I've clawed my way back up. So here's where I leave you with a question that's bigger than me, bigger than Kane, bigger than any headline. Do you believe the truth can survive against money, power, and lies? Or do you think people like me, people dismissed as just the help, will always have to bleed just to prove we belong? Tell me in the comments what you've seen in your own life when someone underestimated you, when the system failed you, when you had to fight just to be heard. Because I'm not done fighting. Not yet. And I want to know, are you standing with me? I still remember the way the room froze, like the air itself had turned to glass when I said, "If I were you, I wouldn't pull that trigger." My voice didn't shake, though my heart was pounding. Everyone turned, but it wasn't the guests who mattered. It was the man with the gun. His smirk cracked for just a second, and that second was mine. You see, I wasn't supposed to be noticed. I was the quiet one in the background, carrying trays, wiping tables. Just the help. Invisible. That's what they thought anyway. But the truth is, I had been watching him all night, his stiff shoulder, the way he never touched a drink, never made eye contact, always scanning exits like he was rehearsing a script. I knew exactly what he was before he ever reached for the weapon under his jacket. "Lady, you're crazy," he barked, trying to laugh it off. "I'm a guest just like you." But I didn't blink. I stepped forward and told him every detail I'd seen the corridor he came through, the fake badge, the way his earpiece didn't fit. His eyes twitched with every word because I wasn't guessing. I was cutting through his cover like a knife.